guys, welcome back to another video. So this is a video that is going to be very different than videos that I have normally made, but part of that is because I want to create this video as I've been starting to really kind of dive into some MMO content recently. I absolutely love MMOs. I think they are super fun. A great way to just dive into a game, put thousands upon thousands of hours together, get together with some friends, fight some bosses, level, whatever it is that you're interested in doing. But this video specifically, what I want to be talking about is how Knights of the Old Republic, Star Wars The Old Republic is the perfect first MMO. So, and I'm coming at this from an angle of somebody who Star Wars The Old Republic was my first MMO. I haven't dived into any real hardcore MMOs recently, as of ones like Lord of the Rings Online or World of Warcraft, different things like that. But I have spent a bunch of time in Star Wars The Old Republic leveling. I haven't hit any of the late game stuff yet, mainly because of a lot of personal things and a lot of things that I just didn't understand as an MMO player at the time. But diving into Star Wars The Old Republic, it has become super fun. It is a game that I have put hundreds of hours into, if not thousands, through leveling too many characters and not actually getting into any post-game content. But with all that being said, let's talk about why I think Star Wars The Old Republic is the best first MMO. Now, I'm going to be kind of using the screen behind me as like the gameplay that you're seeing on here is just from a stream that I did the other day, and this is just to kind of help fill a lot of stuff, but mostly I'll be putting text on the screen to kind of talk about different things throughout this video. So the first thing I want to talk about is the story content. It is really, honestly, Star Wars The Old Republic, it is a story-based MMO, and it is one of the best story-based MMOs I've ever played. Most of the other MMOs have an overwhelming amount of text and just things, and it makes it really, really hard to understand what's even really happening. Whereas Star Wars The Old Republic, everything is run through live cutscenes, all with voice actors, so it's really easy to just sit, watch the cutscenes, and see the story unfold around you versus having to read a bunch of text in order to understand what is going on. And that, to me, is a huge thing that makes it easy to understand as a newer player who is wanting to dive into an expanded story in the Star Wars universe. The next thing that I want to talk about, with what makes Star Wars The Old Republic a really, really good first MMO, is it is so easy to distinguish necessary quests versus optional and daily quests. And that is based purely on the icons that they give you. In most MMOs, you get 1,000 quests and then you forget which one is your story quest, which one is a side quest, an exploration quest. This happened to me a lot when I was playing Rift. I really enjoyed Rift, I enjoyed the mechanics of it, but I got so overwhelmed and lost so quickly, and that has not been the case for me in Star Wars The Old Republic, because all of the quests that are deemed as necessary are the ones that are highlighted in purple. So if you are wanting quests to get you leveled up quickly, get you the best story content, the purple quests are the route to go. Those are the ones that I have spent a ton of time playing and a ton of time using to get my characters up to the higher levels. When I was in the earlier planets, I was spending a little bit more time doing some of the more optional quests to just be able to talk about, like, show what's going on and just to kind of like get an experience for those optional quests. But as time went on, I kind of started ignoring the more optional quests and focused on the story stuff, because I mainly am working on wanting to get through the story with all the different characters, enjoy the story content that I can, and get that legendary player status as a start. And then from there, I'll be diving into more things like post-game, end-game, raids, flashpoints, ops, things like that. But that, like, if you're looking at wanting to get into an MMO, Star Wars The Old Republic, it's really easy to do that because you can see the necessary quests if you're just looking at trying to get into the story content. That is a big thing. The second thing, or the third thing, for Star Wars The Old Republic being a first intro to MMOs game is that the leveling process is quick and it is not difficult. Yes, you are going to have to be spending a good chunk of hours. It's not going to be like you're going to be max level in like a day or two. You're going to be spending a couple weeks, couple months, depending on the amount of time that you invest into the game. getting to that max level. But when you do get to that max level point, like that journey throughout there, you're constantly feeling like you're progressing. You're not stuck behind gear at lower levels. Gear doesn't really matter at all until you get to the higher levels. It does matter from a base standpoint, but at the same time, you are going to be working on, you will be able to level up, and you will be able to continue on throughout the stories and not have too much difficulty with having to focus on like buying gear off the Galactic Trade Network from other players and different things like that. Whatever the drops that you're getting as a player in the moment, those do allow you to be able to get the gear that you need in order to make it through the story quests and enjoy those quests. So that kind of, I think, really helps, because then you can focus on just understanding how the classes function, how the characters function, how the companions function, and just overall get a good feeling for how to play the game without having to try and become a top tier quester and leveling up the most efficient ways possible in order to get to a lot of the post-game content. So that's definitely something that I hugely praise Star Wars: The Old Republic for. Another thing that does make it a really fun first MMO is you have the NPC companions that join you right away, so soloing content does become really easy as well. Not necessarily like really easy if you're soloing endgame content. There are certain areas that do make endgame content more difficult from doing it as a solo player, but there are a lot of ways that you can go through and you can spend time doing content solo and not having to feel like you have to queue up with a bunch of randoms in order to understand. So if you're just trying to learn how the flashpoints function, if you're trying to learn how the raids work, you can do a lot of them solo through the story mode difficulty, where they give you a combat support droid that makes it easier to clear them solo. And then when you're ready and you want to dive into things more difficult with some friends, you can do so relatively easily. That is one of the things that I do really like about Star Wars: The Old Republic. It's easy to get into, it's easy to pick up, get through the story, enjoy the leveling process, and then you can dive into a little bit of post-game content relatively simply without having to dive into a lot of different things. Another thing, you won't see it on the screen, but I'm going to talk about it. The UI for Star Wars: The Old Republic is really easy to understand. The skill tree is not overwhelming. The user interfaces are clean, they look good, and it makes it really easy for a new player to dive in, look at it, and understand what they're seeing on the screen. So that is definitely another big praise that I will give for Star Wars: The Old Republic for being a first MMO. Now, if you're an MMO veteran, Star Wars: The Old Republic, I'll admit it might not be for you. It might be something that's a little bit simplistic. It might be something that maybe you're looking for something better, something more like hardcore WoW raids and things like that. You're not going to find that in Star Wars: The Old Republic, at least not with the current state of the game. But if you're looking at just trying to understand an MMO, how to play an MMO, and which one maybe you're interested in playing in, Star Wars: The Old Republic is a beautiful first MMO to play. So if you've never played an MMO, I highly recommend checking out Star Wars: The Old Republic. I've really been diving into it, really wanting to understand MMOs better, so that way I can get into some of the more hardcore MMOs later on. I'm going to be diving into Lord of the Rings Online for the first time on Monday, so at the time of recording this video, so I'm really excited for that. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you're looking at getting into MMOs, I strongly recommend Star Wars: The Old Republic as the first one. If you have any questions, you can feel free to ask in the comments below. If you want more Star Wars: The Old Republic, let me know. I've been playing a lot of Star Wars: The Old Republic on stream, and I do want to focus on some MMO content, as well as just diving in with the community on that. So if you want to play with me, if you want to join my guild, that's primarily Sith focused right now, but we are looking at diving into the Republic as well. There's a link to my Discord. Check out the Star Wars: The Old Republic pinned messages for the guild Discord, so you can join the Fellowship of the Stars. Thank you guys so much for watching. You were loved, you were valued, you are fearfully and wonderfully made, and I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. We will see you later.